Welcome to Insider Secrets to Below Market Car Deals. That's what we call in this segment. Insider Secrets to Below Market Car Deals. If you're car shopping now or you will be in the next 12 months, type me in the comments. I want to talk to the people who are in the market for a car right now, or you will be in the market in the next 12 months. Type me in the comments if that's you. My new book is on sale for 75% off. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. If you hate car shopping traditionally, I want you to be honest and type me in the comments. I saw something on TikTok earlier, and I want to share it actually. If you might not be able to see it on TikTok, but on the other platforms we're on, I'm going to stream it. And I'm going to see if I could actually bring it into the broadcast. Okay. Now, this is from a young lady. I was tagged in this video. If y'all ever tag me in a video, if you're like, Deshaun, what are your opinions on this? Just tag me. If you don't know me, my name is Deshaun, the Auto Advisor. I've been in the car business. I left in 2020 to focus on teaching people like you how to save all the money you're supposed to be saving every time you buy, lease, or sell cars. And when I say sell, I mean we don't trade cars, we sell them. So this young lady, her name is SD, Sandra. And let me see if I can share my screen and bring this in, right? So you should be able to hear her. I'm going to have the volume up, and I want y'all to listen to this. Okay, we'll get to Q&A. You know, if this is your first time on one of my live sessions, we'll do Q&A, but I want y'all to hear this, what this young lady said. And while I'm doing this, while I'm bringing this up, make sure you are subscribed if you're into financial literacy. Make sure you're following if you care about your money, and share this with somebody if you care about people other than yourself. So let me bring this in, okay? All right, so
Automotive finance.
Let me know if y'all can hear this. Can y'all hear this, young lady? I'm gonna turn this up.
My name is Sandra, and I've been an automotive finance manager for over 10 years.
Can everybody hear this?
Today I'm going to
give me a 1 in the chat. Light up the TikTok screen. TikTok, I want y'all just tapping the screen, because when you do that, you shoot the likes up, and then TikTok sends messages out to everybody and says, something's going on over here. Y'all need to go watch this. So just tap the screen and you'll see the likes go up. Can y'all hear this? Let me know. Can y'all hear this, young lady? Let me get to my comments. Hold on. Let me get to my comments. Can everybody hear that? All right, perfect. Let's let her roll. Come on,
talk
Sandra.
about things you should consider before leasing a vehicle. Before leasing a vehicle, you should understand as a consumer, there are no benefits to leasing a car.
Pause right there. This is what I call confidently incorrect. Confidently wrong. Girl has no she ain't got no kind of what is it called when you're talking but you're not confident? You get what I'm saying? There's no uncertainty there. There's no uncertainty. So she said, and I'm not attacking her, I'm attacking her video. I don't know her personally. She's probably a wonderful mom, sister, daughter, someone's wife, possibly. I'm not attacking her personally. I'm talking about the video that she confidently shares that could impact people. So let's keep it going. She said there's no benefits to leasing. Burned. She had a bad experience. It's clear. Let's keep it going.
With leasing a car, you are still required to take care of normal maintenance. You are required to not have any accidents or damages on the car, but life happens and things like this happen.
Let's pause it right there. So with a lease, some of you have been taught, oh man, if I lease, I got to bring the car back perfect. That's what she said. Life happens, you're required to. Normal wear and tear is just fine on a lease. If your lease should be 3 years, no more than that. We don't do 4-year leases. We'll talk about that later if y'all want to know why. But when you lease a car, they expect wear and tear. They expect you to bring the car back and have a couple dings, a little brush scratches here, there. Like, they're not expecting you to bring the car back perfect. They're expecting what is called normal wear and tear. What you are billed for is something called excess wear and tear, which is basically negligence. If you have a little ding on the car when you bring it back, no charge. If you have a baseball-sized dent on your car, we're charging you for that. And here's how I want you to look at it. Let's say you owned your car and you were coming to trade it in or sell it. Anything that would negatively affect your value is going to be billed because it's a cost. So when you go sell your car, a little ding doesn't usually affect the buyer's value of how they're going to pay for it. A baseball-sized dent does. Make sense? Y'all with me? Type with you if you with me. Let's let Sandra continue to talk.
Well, if it does happen, you have to understand at the end of your lease, you may be charged. Also,
see, so she just said she didn't go deep in terms of, she just made it look like, well, if you bring back the car and there's anything wrong, you may be charged. Not true. Now you have the accuracy. In fact, most leasing companies have something called the credit card rule, where if a scratch can be covered by a credit card, it's not billable. So Mercedes had it. You literally could, if you could cover it with a credit card, a scratch had to be a certain length to be billable, which means it's excess wear and tear. Because why? They expect someone who drives a car for 3 years to bring it back with a small scratch, medium-sized scratch. A large scratch? Well, we got to pay for that.
There's a mileage limit. You either have 8,000
Now there's a mileage limit. Who's heard this with a lease? There's a mileage limit. Here's what they don't tell you. So I got my banner up. Everybody, while you're on here, you could get my book. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, because I don't want you listening to bad advice. I want you to test advice, test my strategies. Everything that I share in my book is in my videos. But if you want everything in one place, step by step, where you're like, Deshaun, I don't want to go through 40, 50 videos and try to see which ones are for me. You go get my new book. It's a digital book. The reason it's a digital book, because every time there's a new update, I have to update the book, and everyone gets the update. For instance, Vroom went out of business 2 months ago, and so I had to update the book, and everybody got the new version. But get it in my TikTok bio. You're not going to leave the broadcast, so you're not going to miss anything we're talking about. Just go, but I don't want you to miss the countdown. You can get it for 75% off for a couple minutes. TikTok bio, Instagram bio, or you can scan the QR code or go to Deshaun'sBook.com. Any of those 4 ways, get your copy for 75% off. Now, when this young lady says there's a mileage limit, what she doesn't say is you pick the mileage limit. See, it makes it look like, some of you may have thought, you might have been thinking, oh, they give you the mileage. They tell you you could only drive 10,000 miles per year. You can only drive 12,000 miles per year. They say to you, how many miles a year do you need? You see the difference? Now, this young lady has been in the car business. The reason I'm on TikTok today, the reason I went to TikTok in 2021, God bless me, my whole life changed because I went to TikTok, and in my first day, my first 24 hours, I had 100,000 followers. My first 30 days, I had 1 million followers, because I went there with information and numbers that people hadn't heard before, like in the way that I deliver it. Everyone delivers their own way. But the mileage limit is picked by you. So you're going to select 10,000 miles per year. You're going to select 12,000. You're going to select 15,000, 20,000. When I came, don't think because somebody says they're in the car business, or because, hey, I've been an automotive finance manager for this many years. They're making these videos, and they're confidently wrong. I think I made that term up. I want you to, whenever you know something that someone else doesn't know, and you see somebody talking, and they just, that's the term, confidently wrong, and that's dangerous. You pick the mileage limit. Just because you run a car business doesn't mean you understand numbers. In fact, most car salesmen, if I got any car salesmen on here, be honest, nobody trained you. Be honest. See, I got any realtors on here? Anybody in real estate, anybody in mortgages, type of M or type of R if you're in real estate or mortgages. We're going to let Sandra finish up, but I got to go deep with this whole thing, right? Don't you know people in your industry that don't study? Now, in your case, in real estate mortgages, you're required to study. You are required to pass tests. You are required to understand depreciation and, all the things that come into a financial transaction of a house or a mortgage. Cars, forget it. You could have a job at a car dealership next week if you wanted it. Deshaun, what you mean? It's that easy to become a car salesman? It's that easy. If you got half a personality, you walk into 5 car dealerships and go to the manager and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. I want to make money. You will have a job in 2 days, 3 days. Not only that, because that ain't the bad part. They will unleash you on the public in about a week. So not only, look, if they were going to take you in and you could get the job in 2-3 days, but then they train you and now you're trained to work with the public, that's different. If you had to do a month-long training, go study finance, study loans, study resale value, study all the leases, purchasing, all the things you're going to be talking to the public about, you might need a 30-day period before you could even talk to the public. Real estate agents, they got to go through 75 hours of training and then take a school test, then a state test before they can work with the public. Car salespeople, nah. The person who's helping you buy your $50,000 car, dude, all he had to do was come in, smile, interview well, and then take a couple tests on the car. He don't know nothing about numbers. He don't know nothing about finance. He don't know nothing about nothing. And he's helping you make a $50,000 transaction. Why am I telling y'all this? Because this is the emphasis. Here's what I want y'all to remember. And then we'll get back to Sandra. If those who are supposed to be trained to handle your money are not trained, then you better be trained. If the people who are supposed to be trained to work with your money are not trained, you better be trained so that you can recognize you ain't trained. So you ain't doing my deal. Let's get back to Sandra.
10,000 miles a year, 15,000 miles a year, or 18,000 miles a year. The more mileage you're allowed yearly, the higher your payment is. So what I would truly suggest, if you are definitely consider leasing a vehicle, go onto the manufacturer's brand website. If it's Nissan, go to Nissan.
Now, this clearly shows she's not confident in getting you your best deal, because there's no way. I have done thousands of deals when I was with Mercedes-Benz, General Motors. We've run thousands of leases. No deal that I ever said to the customer where I'm like, here's what you want. You use my book, you use the stuff I teach. This is what's going to happen when you drive off in your car. Guarantee it. That, man, that was a tight deal. We barely made a dime on that deal. Hey, yo, that deal put us in the red. Man, we got to make it up on these other customers. A deal is when a manager doesn't want to do a deal, a real deal. I'm talking about a deal where you win. You got all the money you're supposed to get off, all the discounts, all the rebates. You got the best, everything. You got the best loan, everything. They looking and saying, man, I don't want to do that again. You get what I'm saying? They're not, if somebody tells you, go send your friends, I'll give them the exact same deal I gave you, you didn't get, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. No one wants to duplicate a deal where it's a real deal. So she's saying, if you want to lease, go look at the website. Go look at the websites that say, come drive this Nissan Sentra, $299 a month with $3,500 down, plus tax, plus fees. These ain't no deals. Nobody who I was ever talking to, y'all saw what I just ran down. I'm giving y'all what happens in the back office. I'm giving y'all, and any car salesman that's on here, you know what I'm talking about, including this young lady. The deals that you make that your manager barely wants to accept, that's the deals I want all of y'all making. I want every single time y'all make a deal, lease, purchase, new car, used car, I want the manager saying, hey, ooh, they want to do that one. When you look at those numbers, it is always thousands different than what is on the commercial. Person comes in and they pay $350 a month with no money down, but the commercial says you could pay $350 with $3,500 down plus tax and fees. Well, that's a difference of about $5,000. So let's get back to her. You see, what I'm saying, she has people that will listen. She has somebody who watched this video and said, thank you. I'm glad she made that video. No benefits to leasing. Thank you. Don't realize this young lady just cost her thousands of dollars. Thousands. Because no one who's not keeping their cars 8 years shouldn't be leasing. If you are not keeping your cars 8 years, you're going to see eventually, like your next car should be a lease. And when you use the strategies I teach to get the best lease deals, which means you shop around, you're going to see how wrong these people have been when you see how much your car payment is versus the car you're driving. When you look outside and you see a $40,000 car and you only paying $500 a month for it, when you know a $40,000 car usually costs you $800 a month, you're going to be like, dang, I listened to the wrong people for too long. So let's get back to this young lady.
USA.com and type in lease deals. They will show you all the nationwide lease deals in your area that you qualify for. It will let you know your credit score that is required to get the lease deals, the down payment, and how much your monthly payment could possibly be. But do make sure you read the fine print because it will tell you the certain type of trim that you're allowed to get for that monthly payment. The type of person I believe a lease is good for is a business person that
killed y'all with that. She's murdering y'all. She's literally, it's like she said to herself unintentionally, I'm going to say everything in the video wrong. That's like the people who know me. If you've been around me, if you've seen my content, if you got a deal or two or three from learning from me, if you've read any of my books, if you've been on any of my Cars from Home University, anything where you've had a chance, if you've been to my master classes, anything that I've put out to educate the public and help y'all win, everything she's saying is the opposite of the truth. It's not a lie because in her mind, she's not lying. She's doing the best she can. It's called confidently ignorant. And that's dangerous. So I ask you to question the people you're learning from. Everybody can turn on their phone and make a video. Car salesmen out here, I watch car salesmen buy their cars when they should be leasing all day long because they were taught. I didn't finish that story. Y'all know the reason why I came to TikTok? 2021. I was praying about this. I'm telling y'all how serious this was, right? Because I was on Facebook and I said, you know what? It's time to expand. I got to go to TikTok or Instagram. Somebody hit me and they're like, D, it's a guy on TikTok. He's an older guy. He teaches about cars like you do, but he got a nice following over there. At the time, he had 150,000 followers, somewhere around 150, 160, right? So I'm going and I'm watching his videos and I'm like, man, I like this guy. I love to see somebody educating the public. He was in the car business and he's going deep. He's like going, and I'm like, man, let's go. I have absolutely we need more people like this who are going to set the public free and help y'all actually know the behind the scenes of all this money that's in your car deals that you haven't known about, but only an insider would know. So I'm like loving it. And so now I get to a video of his because I'm binge watching. I'm like on video number 10. And somebody asked him, hey, I noticed you don't really talk much about leasing. Could you kind of explain, leasing? He makes a video. Remember, I'm trying to decide TikTok or Instagram. Remember, That's what I'm trying to decide. He said, listen, it's a good question. Never lease your cars. Never lease your cars. They're gonna limit you with the mileage. You're gonna have tons of fees at the end. They're gonna bill you. Like it's just not, just buy your cars. I was on TikTok the next day. I said, God, thank you for answering my prayers and showing me where I need to go. Because if this brother out here with 150,000 followers and this is what he's teaching the public, then the public is in trouble. I need to get over here. And when I came to TikTok, as I said earlier, it just went crazy for me right from the get-go, because the information that I'm going to deliver, the numbers are going to cut through all of this stuff. She's not saying anything about numbers. She's only giving you, she's talking as someone who's been burned. Pay attention when people talk like someone who's been burned and say, don't do something. It didn't work for me. Well, did it not work for you because of you or because of what you tried to get? Was it the lease or was it you? Was it the way you structured your lease? Was it the money you paid for your lease? Did you not get a good lease deal and you ended up paying a high monthly payment for a car you're giving back? And you looked at that at the end of the lease and said, I paid too much money for that car. Did you not get the mileage you needed? You drive 15,000 miles per year, but because that $10,000 mile a year payment was $400 and the 15,000 mile a year payment was $445, you decided to take the 10,000 mile a year lease, and then you went over the mileage by 15,000 miles and ended up with a bill for $4,000. Is that why you didn't like the lease? Because all of that is your fault. Not the lease's fault. Come on, Sandra. Come on with it.
Drives around.
And we're going to go into questions. I just thought with me doing these live shows now, I'm enjoying it. You're going to see I'm going to be bringing slides. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. All is in my book. So if you just like Deshaun, you know what? I'd rather just get all the information in one spot than download your copy of my new book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. In my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, it's $24 if you get the 75% off price. So go there now. As long as that timer hasn't expired, you can get it for 75% off. Go to Deshaun'sBook.com or go to or scan the QR code. Come on with it.
Their lease for business, because that becomes a write-off. They also can write the maintenance off on the car and anything else the car requires, because now that isn't a business expense.
Okay, so she just said she recommends, nope, let's go deeper, because she's going deep on this.
Me, I wouldn't suggest leasing it.
Normal people like me, like you, like me, like her, like most of you who don't have a business.
And I would never do it again. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
Got burned. You've been burned, Sandra. So she just told you. Normal people like me shouldn't lease, and I'll never do it again. Burned. Your fault. You go into a complex financial transaction like a lease, which means it's not cut and dry. You can go into a purchase, $30,000. You can put anything from that buyer's order into a calculator, add it up, throw it into a monthly payment calculator, and it should match. Put the interest rate in there. What interest rate are you using? 4.9. Put that interest rate in, boom, your payment's this, it should match. Very transparent. Still got to learn how to get deals, but transparent. You go into a complex structure like a lease, no training, no understanding, and you end up in this position. I appreciate the person tagging me in this video. They asked my opinion on it. I figured I'd give my opinion live on the show. Somebody said, lost me at no benefits. Let me go to the comments now. Let me get to the comments because I want to hear what all of you think about this. Deep, yeah, hit the like button. Thank you, XL Pro. Appreciate you. The managers are trained. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. Most managers are salespeople that went to become a manager. They're not getting trained like realtors, like mortgage agents, like insurance. They're not getting trained. Car salespeople are not trained. As someone who was in the business for 14 years, they are not trained. No numbers, no finance, no resale value, no understanding of depreciation, You're selling a depreciating asset. You need to be able to explain to the public what that means. You need to be able to explain to the public how that affects them. They're about to buy something that's going to be less. It's going to be worth less than they paid for it the moment they buy it. You need to be able to explain that to the public, how they need to handle this type of asset they're buying. You just paid 20 for this vehicle. Tomorrow, what is it worth, y'all? Fabulous. If you're driving 20,000 miles a year, if you're not are you keeping your car 8 years or longer? Yes or no? Yes or no? So look, hold on. I just read that question and it threw me off. I was talking about depreciation. Okay, Optima, if you didn't receive the book, just so you know, DM me. I gotta get with the team because it's usually, and I know we have people going to the website, they're trying to make sure they get the 75% off before the timer runs out. It's usually a number or a letter is switched up in the email. Because if it's not in spam and you didn't get it yet, that's the case. But I'll make sure as soon as I jump off the show, I just need your name or the email you use to purchase, and I'll make sure the team manually sends your book out to you. Okay, you'll get the email immediately. You don't want to keep. You said you don't want to keep, then you should be leasing. Very, very simple. Because driving 20,000 miles a year, you're going to kill the value of your car. Hold on, let me get off this screen. Hold on, I'm not going to share my screen anymore. All right, here we go. You should be leasing, and you got to learn to shop your lease deals, because when you shop your lease deals, you're going to see they're not all equal. In fact, they're all different. Every vehicle has a different lease program, and what you're going to have to do is identify a vehicle and then get quotes on it, get multiple quotes, because not only is every vehicle different with the lease program, every dealer is different with how much they're going to discount the car for you. There are people, did somebody teach y'all that? Did someone teach you that all car dealers have the same prices? I never want to assume what a person believes to be true. And some people do believe that every car dealer, like they'll use terms like, I'm done with Mercedes because they had a bad experience with a local Mercedes dealer. They'll say, oh, I'm done with Nissan because Nissan's lease is overpriced. But meanwhile, you went into one dealer, you got one offer, and now you're using that to say, this car is overpriced. This dealer is overpriced. Dealers are independently owned and operated. And so the name of this segment is Insider Secrets to Below Market Car Deals. Below market car deals come by multiple offers and finding the dealers who do the discounts, who do the big discounts. But there's no map that tells you that. There's no, hey, go to this dealer right here, that's the one. No, unfortunately, that's not the way it works. You have to get these offers. I teach two ways to do it. One is my way in the book, which is by email. We send these dealers emails. We get our offers all through email. That way we can talk to 25 dealers at once. I have a strategy. I call it the 25 to 5 in the book. You're connecting with 25 dealers, take you 20 minutes. I know some of y'all like, Deshaun, that sounds crazy. 25 dealers. How long is that going to take? 20 minutes. I told you I got this thing to a science. We do it online, and we're letting 25 dealers know what we want. And then we're narrowing that down to the 5. We need to hit that many to get 5 quotes. And those 5 quotes are going to look so different from each other. It's going to blow your mind. You're not going to be able to believe that the same car, some dealers are going to say 500, some dealers are going to say 550, some dealers are going to say 6, some dealers are going to say 7. Literally, it's that big of a difference. And that's going to show you why you should always be getting multiple offers, because some people trying to take your head off. So, all right, what are the best lease deals? You won't see them online, David. You won't see them online. Great deals, phenomenal deals, like I talked about at the beginning of the segment, where the sales manager is back there and the salesman is like, "Dad, man, we don't want to do that deal again." Where a person's looking at you and saying, "Man, how'd you learn to, are you in the car business or what? You negotiate for all of that?" The little comments that they make to I want you hearing this stuff. If you haven't heard this stuff, you ain't getting your best deal. Like if people ain't looking at you saying, "Man, you get this price," like you ain't getting your best deal. So that happens through multiple offers and getting bids. You got to be willing to step out of the old way, I call it. That old way is one-to-one negotiations. You cannot save all the money one-to-one negotiations. You can't. You don't have anything to compare it to. So even if a person takes off $3,000, you don't know that's the bottom. You need comparison offers. And that's the way we shop for everything. If you think about it, you go to the grocery store. How do you choose your products? Some of you might say, "I love Tide. I'm only getting Tide." Some of you look and say, "You know what? Tide is on sale. All is on sale. Pure, all right. You know what? That's the best value right now." You make a decision quick based on comparative shopping. I'm telling you, the same thing works in cars. That same style of shopping works in cars. Not only does it work, not only have we been doing it for years, it's the key to enjoying your car shopping. It's the key to knowing every time you make a deal, I won. Everybody bid, I picked the best bidder, I won. And you won. You're the prize. You'll start seeing yourself as the prize. How many people have bought a car and you felt like you had to convince them to sell you a car? You had to basically say, "Listen, am I the customer? Am I the prize here?" What the heck? You almost feel like you feel a little like you're not valued. When you use these strategies and you start getting bids, look, Lynn said, "I always feel ripped off." I'm sorry to hear that. When you start changing the actions, you do the same thing, you get the same result. That's the definition of insanity. So you keep shopping the way you shop, you're going to get the same feeling, the same results, the same. You drive away from the deal and you're like, "Man, you think we did all right?" "Yeah, I think we did all right. You think we could have got more money off? Yeah. I think we could have got more for our old car." All of this stuff that you drive off thinking, that's called buyer's remorse. That's buyer's remorse setting in. When you change the way you do things, that's going to go away. That's going to go away. Should I put a bigger down payment on a lease to take bigger monthly payment? No, you shop for your lease deals, and you must have a deal below 1.5. You must shop and get your best deal with no money down before you add money to the deal. That's what's confusing us in a lot of cases. That down payment, when we start seeing the payments, we start seeing the monthly, and we get confused about the deal, the overall deal, the price we're paying for the car. You shop for your leases with no money down, 12,000 miles a year, only first month's payment, total out of pocket. It's all in my book. For those of you who like, "Deshaun, I ain't gonna remember all of this." Grab my book. It's in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio. This is the part called multiple offers. This is step 5 in the book. But when you're shopping for your lease deals, you're shopping with no money down, first payment out of pocket, and you are judging all your offers. Now you pick your best offer, and if it's below 1.5%, now you can apply money down if you want to lower your payment. That means you're not buying your deal, you're just managing your payment. Many people think because they put $4,000 down and they look at their payment, they're like, "Oh, I did good." No, you did good when you had a deal before the down payment. You got to be able to assess your deal. And if you listen and you use what I'm telling you, you will be able to assess your deal based on, I got multiple offers. Who gave me the biggest discount? You did. Has nothing to do with my loan yet. Nothing to do with my monthly payment yet. Who gave me the biggest discount? Who gave me the best lease offer? You did. Has nothing to do with my monthly payment. Nothing to do with if I'm going to put money down to lower that payment. We judge our lease deals by comparing the percentage we're paying into the car. We take the monthly payment and we divide that into the MSRP. When you divide a monthly payment like $500 into $50,000, that's 1%. Anything under 1% is a steal. It's not a lot of 1% offers out here because you need big discounts from the winning bid, from the winning dealer, and then you need an incredible lease program from the bank. When those two things combine, you could see a 1% steal. But a deal is between 1% and 1.5. Anywhere between there is a deal. You need a big discount and a good lease program. Big discount from the winning dealer, good lease program. You're going to be between 1 and 1.5. Big discount from the winning dealer, bad lease program, you're going to be over 1.5 no matter what. And we walk away from those cars. We go lease something else, we go get our other choices, and we might come back and see that car in 3 years if they decide they want to put a better lease program on the car. We don't take bad lease programs. We don't sign leases over 1.5. You can't look at an offer and say it's 1.6%. Let me put 3,000 down. Now it's 1.4. Good. No, it's not. It's not 1.4. It's 1.6. 1.6 is 1.6 with no money down. You can't buy your deal. You can't buy your way to 1.4. You can't buy your way to 1%. And when you bring this into your shopping, the confidence you're going to have to close these deals is going to be crazy. I know you're getting more confident just by listening because you're like, I have not shopped like this. And this is quick. This is 30 minutes, 45 minutes from home. This is 45 minutes from home. I want y'all doing deals in minutes, not hours, days. Let's go. It doesn't make sense to put money down on a lease, right? It does. It certainly does. You need to know the risk. Let's talk about the risk of money down on a lease. If your car is totaled or stolen, could y'all keep shooting the likes up on TikTok? If you're going to spend time with us, you're going to spend 10, 15 minutes. Could y'all just keep tapping the screen? Y'all let TikTok know that we're doing something big over here. They send more people. And if you're on any of the other platform, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, could you tag somebody that you care about? Listen, you don't want to get to the point where somebody you know finds me and then they telling you about me. Hey, you watch this guy Deshaun, man. I use his stuff, man. I just got this car. Oh man, yeah, I've been watching him for a year. Hey man, why you ain't tell me? Come on, we come on, come on. We gotta share. I'd be mad. You know somebody, you know I'm shopping for a car. You ain't tell me about this guy. So tag somebody, tag a friend, or hit the share button. So money down when you lease, two things put that money at risk. First is if the car is totaled, insurance is going to pay off the bank, off the leasing company, and then you have to go car shop again. So if you put $4,000, $5,000 down on a lease, that money's gone. You're not building equity by putting more money down. If the car is stolen, the money's gone. So how do we assess our risk? It's very easy because I've had people who put money down on leases all day long. Here's how you assess your risk. How many cars have I had stolen? If the answer is 2 or 3, you're a bit of a higher risk. You probably should try to get your money, your minimum down, like no money down or very minimum. The second question is how easy is the car I'm leasing to total? If I'm leasing a Honda Civic, a little fender bender might total that car out. So I don't want to put 3, 4, 5,000 on a Honda Civic because it's easy to total. So those are the two questions you ask yourself. It's very simple. How many cars have I had stolen? Some of you say never. I've never had a car stolen, which means chances are you're not going to have your car stolen and you're not going to lose your down payment on a lease. And then the other one is how big the car is. If you're buying an SUV, something that's hard to total, or you're buying a mid-sized car, hard to total, then you can stand a little bit more risk with the down payment. But again, if you can get the car, you're going to see a lot of people. I'm going to show y'all right here. These are 3 people right here that got Danielle. Danielle leased her car, her Audi, no money down, $44,000 vehicle. She got her bids, her best offer, $550 a month. $44,000 Audi A3. Some of you on here you might have this car. Some of you might be leasing this car. Some of you are financing this car and you're paying $700, $800, $900 a month. Now, let's look at this young lady, Kimberly. Now, Kimberly is leasing her Maserati. It's a $91,000 vehicle. She's paying $944 a month. Some of you have this same car and you're paying $1,800 a month, because $91,000 is $1,800 a month on a finance. She's paying $944. No money down. Okay? No money down. Let's go to this next person. Bonita. Bonita leased a Kia Telluride. She put $600 down. That's her payment, $600. So if you can find a lease deal, here's another person. Charles. These are all people in my private Facebook group. I have a video library called Cars from Home University, where it's the video version. So I'm fortunate that I get to work with car shoppers all around the country. So when I'm reporting to y'all, I'm reporting as someone who literally has his post on the market around the whole country, because I got people around the whole country that is using my stuff, that are reporting the deals. So $48,000 Hyundai Palisade payment is $597. $48,000, that's a $900 a month payment. It's almost 50 grand with taxes. We're not even taking into account the taxes. That would probably really put you about, put a person about $1050 a month for 5 years, $950 a month for 6 years. Charles is paying $597. So if you can find a lease deal that is in your budget with no money down, like I just showed you those 4 people did, that's the move. That's the move. You shop for it. You shop multiple offers. And if you could do it, that's fine. But if you see that, you know what? I got a phenomenal deal. It's 1.3%, but the payment is $600. I really like to see it about $525. Then put your money down, but assess your risk based on what I just laid out for y'all. Okay, that's right. Do not gatekeep. This man know what he's talking about. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you. Just shop around and ask them what's the buyout on your lease. I'm not sure what that means. Hold on. We had a couple questions. A couple comments. I know y'all are comment with each other. So now let's get back to the comments. I know I'm off the grid, but why is my credit score much lower than Credit Karma? Because Credit Karma is not it's not a credit bureau. It's not a credit bureau. So what I would tell you, and that's not uncommon. Like I remember a guy. He was actively working on his credit because he wanted to get this Mercedes when I worked there. And he was like, look, this is where I'm at. I've been working. I'm looking at it right now. This is where my score is at. I said, okay, come on in. We got there. We ran his credit. It was like 70 or 100 points. I don't remember because it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, but it was literally so far away from where he said it was. And I said, what did you use he said, I used the Credit Karma. That's when I knew we can't have faith in Credit Karma. We got to really we got to get our bureau scores, TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. You shouldn't be doing this regularly. You should really just be doing this when you want to buy something, when you want to lease something. Like, go and get your real 3 bureau scores, not your Credit Karma monitoring scores. What about a car paying your car cash? Black Cherry, good deal. Good deal. As long as you are shopping effectively, that's fine. But if you are leasing, if you're not keeping your car 8 years, then you're tying up a lot of money in a car versus a person who leases. It's just give you an example. Any of those cars that I just laid out that those people leased, if you are going to buy them and keep them for 8, 9, 10 years, so you can let that depreciation cool off, which means you lay out 40 grand, that car ain't worth 40 grand the day you buy it. That car is worth, that's what I was saying earlier and I lost my train of thought. The day you buy that car for 40 grand, it's no longer worth 40 grand. A minute later, right? So that's how you got to really look at depreciation. This car is losing value like crazy. So I'm either going to lease or purchase to try to minimize the amount I pay in depreciation. And for people who are not keeping their cars 8 years, long enough for the depreciation curve to really level out so that you're not losing a lot of value, the person leasing is killing you. Those deals that I just named, if the same people purchase those cars, the money that it's coming out of their bank account every month and every year is so different. That's why when I was telling you what their lease payment was, I was also telling you what their purchase payment would have been. So you could just do that simple math. That she leasing it for 500. If she would have bought it, it would have been 900. That's why it's, has anybody seen the videos with the average car payments of car salesmen? Anybody see that video? I know it went viral. There was a video where they were going through dealerships and they were asking car salesmen and car sales women what their average payment was. Anybody see that video? The payments were crazy because they purchase. And it starts with the same thing we started the segment with when I showed y'all Sandra's video. In the car business, absolutely should not be allowed to counsel the public on financing car transactions. She doesn't know anything about what she's telling you. She's only telling you this is what happened to me, don't do this, but she's not telling you based on training. So you don't want to be you don't want to. All right. Sorry for all these lease questions. How long are leases typically? And if I ever get off a subject, because I'm literally taking questions from 4 platforms, just remind me of what I was talking about and we'll get back to it. How long are leases typically? 3 years. You can shop for a 2-year. You don't ask for a 2-year lease because most people don't have them. If they have a 2-year lease, they'll tell you. Most 2-year leases are not good. They're going to be overpriced because the manufacturer wants the car back in 3 years. So 3 years is what we go for. You can do 39 months. We do not do 4 years. We do not do 4 years. It's too long. It's too long for a car that you're giving back. We don't do 4 years at all. You're eliminating some of the benefits of leasing, which is switching a car quickly. 4 years is a long time for a lease. Not for a purchase, a lease. And then when you look at the amount you're paying over 4 years and you add all of those payments up, you're going to see you paid too much. All right. Hold on. Let me put my banner back up for everybody who's like, Deshaun, I need this book you have. My new book this is my book release. So part of launching this live show is in connection with, this is the book release strategy. We want everyone to have this book. We're doing 75% off. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It has the 7 steps that I use that you're going to use no matter what your situation is, whether you're purchasing new, leasing, purchasing with cash, purchasing pre-owned, you're a high mileage driver, doesn't matter. You're going to use these 7 steps to get your best deal, save all the money every single time. So go to my TikTok bio, go to the Instagram bio. As long as you get there before the timer runs out, you get your copy for 75% off. You can download it immediately. Or go to Deshaun'sBook.com, scan the QR code. Low miles, buyout lease. No, I wouldn't buy out my lease unless I'm keeping it. If you're keeping, because listen, all you're doing, Lynn, is buying a pre-owned car. We talk about this when it comes to these lease buyouts. Y'all are going to stop your family from buying their leases out when you really understand this. Buying your lease out is just this, it's just buying a used car. The only difference is you didn't go out and look for a used car. You had an opportunity to buy a car that was already used and you bought it. That's what buying your lease is. It's you're going in, you're going to do the paperwork, they're going to retitle the vehicle, they're going to re-register the vehicle, and now it's sold to you as a used car. That's what happens. So when do I recommend you buy a used car? When you're going to keep it long term. Because when you see the comparison, in my book, I'll link you to a video in the Cars from Home library where I'm comparing buying new, leasing new, buying new, leasing buying new, buying new, leasing, because leasing is really always new. 99.9% of the time you're leasing a new car or a demo. So I'm comparing buying new, leasing, and we see that leasing blows it away by thousands of dollars. When you go down the road, though, 8 years, the person who bought wins. Very important to know that. Down the road, the person who purchased wins. because the person who leases still has a car payment, and they're going to always have a car payment. You pay for the luxury of leasing. You pay for the always under warranty, always have the latest and greatest, you pay for that. So in the short run, you're only paying a little bit of money when you know how to get great lease deals. The person who purchases is paying so much more than you, but in the long run, 8, 9, 10, 12 years later, they win. So it's important for y'all to understand that, so you know how to pull these strategies out your pocket for your family when the time is right. You ask them, are you keeping the car 8 years or not? No, I'm not. We're going to shop for an aggressive lease. Are you keeping your car more than 8 years? Yes, I am. We're going to shop for our best deal on a purchase. Very, very simple. I also then compare buying pre-owned versus leasing, which is what I was talking about. Somebody had asked a question about buying your lease, and I'm comparing the lease buyout, which is no different than buying a used car. That's the point for everybody to understand. When you buy your lease, it is simply buying a used car. Now, we might do a segment where we go deep on lease buyouts, where people see that most times when you buy a lease, you overpaid for it. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Used cars compared to an aggressive lease, I linked to this video in my book, and this is the outcome. I'll tell you now, this is the outcome. The person who leases and gets a great lease deal pays about the same, actually a little less, than the person who purchased a used car. Why is that important for you to know? Because if you're driving a brand new car for $500 a month, and I just went and got a used version of that car, 3 years old, and I'm paying $500 a month, who's winning, you or me? You're driving a brand new 2020 whatever, latest, and you're paying $500 a month. I'm driving a 3-year-old one, 36,000 miles, maybe 40,000 miles, and I'm paying $500 a month. Who's winning, you or me? Exactly, you are. So that is the difference. When you are buying pre-owned, you lose in the short term compared to the person who got the great lease deal. But down the road, you win. 8 years down the road, you win. So y'all see what I'm trying to get you? What I'm trying to get you to be clear on is the long and short term of car acquisitions. This should be the main subject. That's why when you go in the book, when you hear me, I call this the most important question. I call this step 1, because you're getting a depreciating asset, goes down in value. What does that mean? I need to know how to work this thing in the short term and the long term. My long-term strategy, I need to think about now, because this thing goes down in value and it doesn't become a good product to own until year 7. I'm losing value every year. I purchased this car every year. I'm losing tons of value, but about year 6, 7, 8, now I'm not losing that value anymore. So I got to get there. I got to get to year 6, 7, 8. And that's when things are going to cool off for me, and I'm going to see these benefits of buying this car. Y'all get what I'm saying? If you understand type of 1, if you're following, that's the difference with understanding the short and the long term. And it's critical to your money that you're going to keep in your household. It's nothing more important than that. It's the foundation of your car deal. If your car deal is on the wrong foundation, nothing you could do. You paid more than you could have. That's why this is step 1. In the book, you'll see step 1, most important question, 8-year rule, leasing versus buying. You don't go to anything else before you make that decision. Okay? Perfect. What do you drive? I got an Infiniti truck. I have all the, that doesn't matter. It's what I pay. Ask me what I pay for what I drive. You get what I'm saying? Everybody was just, we talk about what hey, check out the new car. You see people posting, yo, new car, had to treat myself. Never talk about the money. You know what I get excited about? When y'all email me, Deshaun, I just used your stuff. Check this out. Man, they asked me if I ever sold cars before. Man, they asked me where did I learn to get these deals. That's what I get excited about. I don't even got to know the car you got. You get what I'm saying? I don't even have to know the car you got. Email me about the deal. You get what I'm saying? I want you just as excited about the deal, the price you paid, the discount you got. I want you excited about sitting at home letting these people bid for your business and feeling like you're the prize. Email me about that, not what car you got. Tell me about what car you got second. All right. I owe $1,500 on the 2013 Infiniti truck, but it doesn't run. Can I still use it as a trade? So we don't want to trade cars because we don't get our most money trading cars. You want to sell that vehicle. Now, and look, I'll give you things that take minutes to do that keep 1,000, 2,000, put 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 more in your bank account. So it's your choice if you want to do them or if you're going to be lazy. And I can't help you if you're going to be lazy, especially if what I'm telling you to do is simple and easy. So if it doesn't run, what you really want to do, because this is common, y'all. This is a common situation. We have a car, it doesn't run. Once that car doesn't run, it becomes almost worthless. It becomes almost worthless. Somebody got to get there. They got to tow it. They got to transport it. It's almost worthless. So what I always tell people is any money you have, you want to find a local mechanic. You want to get that car running. If you get the car running, you just multiply the value. Some people say, Deshaun, should I get my car touched up before I sell it? If what you're doing doesn't exponentially increase the value of the car, don't do it before you sell it. If you go and you get some scratches touched up for $300-400, that's not going to increase the value of the car by usually thousands of dollars. You probably will just get back what you paid. But when the transmission's not working and you get a mechanic to help you find a used transmission or help you find a rebuilt transmission, whatever it is, and you put a transmission in there, I would not be going to the dealership for these repairs because dealerships are going to charge 2-3 times more than a local mechanic. Some of you who have a local mechanic, you know, this is a great mechanic is like, I don't even know. They're like your right-hand person when it comes to cars. Great mechanic, somebody who is honest. Because here's what you can do with a great mechanic. I pull up, hey, something's going on with this thing here. Could you check it? And it's a relationship. So he's going to come out, check it out. Some of you know you've had a problem with the car and you're like, Dad, I got to take it to the dealership. If it's not under warranty, they charge you for the diagnosis. You get what I'm saying? So just to look at it, you're going to pay $90 or $100 something. You know what I'm saying? So that makes you nervous to go to the dealership. But if you got a local mechanic, you really don't have to worry about that. But what you want to do is you want to see how much it will cost you to get that vehicle on the road. Can I get a pre-owned? Can I get a rebuilt transmission? But the reason why you need a great mechanic is because a great mechanic can tell you what's necessary to get the car running. A bad mechanic will have you fix one thing, then another thing breaks, and then they're like, oh, I didn't, or they have you fix one thing, you thought it was the problem, and then they find out, oh, that wasn't the problem, but I didn't know until I did this that wasn't the problem. No, these are not the people you want in your life. You want the people in your life who are going to give you the perspectives, counsel you, and advise you of, all right, if you put $2,500 into this car, you get it running. I'm going to do this on it, do that on it, and it'll be great. Now, how you find these mechanics, social media is how I found them. Or you ask your family, because the best mechanics have been in town. They ain't new in town. That's a quotable. The best mechanics have been in town. They ain't new in town. So you want somebody who everybody knows, who been there 10 years, 20 years, second generation. Town loves them. That's who you want to be your mechanic, not the person who just, hey, how long you been? Yeah, I moved from across country 2 years ago. Started, got my little shop here. No, sorry. So get the car running, then assess the value of what it's worth when it's running. And usually you'll find a car that you get running, you throw that on Facebook Marketplace, and that car is going to go for several $1,000s more than you would have assumed you could trade it for. Because cars are selling on Facebook Marketplace like crazy. So any car, I always recommend, it's in my book too, anything under 10 grand, if your car is valued, when you get the bids, in step 2, we get bids for our car from these cash buyers, these cash buying companies. And if that's under 10 grand, you may want to consider going to Facebook Marketplace, because Facebook Marketplace will usually get you 1,500 to 2,500, sometimes 3,000 more with a private party, especially if you know you just kind of put the transmission in, you know, maybe you just put a pre-owned a rebuilt engine in, whatever. You're better off selling it to someone versus trying to trade it, because a dealer is not going to give you what it's worth. So that's just what we have seen that has made people more money. And you see how options. I want you to know options, because some of you are like, you've been so limited. No, you haven't been limited, truthfully. You have been made to think you're limited in your options. I'm the type, this is what I do very well. Oh, you thought that's all? You thought that was your only option? Here's 2 others. You know, here's a better one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm great at knowing all the options, and then you run your route. What if the motor is going out on your car, but it's still working? Can you still sell it? Sure you can. Every vehicle has a value. It's just, are you selling it at its best? Are you selling it, you know, kind of, what's the product you're putting out? Can I do something that will increase the value of the car? Because with an engine going out, the car's worth this. But if I could get the car worked, if I could get it like a BMW that's sitting there with no transmission is worth $1,000. You put a transmission in it, it's probably worth $6,000. So that's the name of the game. You only want to do things that when you look at what the value will be, and you could do this by going to CarMax, going to Driveway, going to the companies that are the cash buying companies. You want to find out, this is what we do to find out what our cars are worth. We don't go to dealerships. We don't go online and type in year, make, model, and then it says your car's worth $20,000. No, we get offers. And when you get offers, you will know, this is what my car is worth. I'm getting multiple bids. This is what it's worth. So when you get those bids, do it in good condition. And when you see what it's worth, if you say, all right, well, in order to get my vehicle in good condition, I got to fix the engine, then you'll know. So again, what I'm talking to y'all about takes minutes to do, but it puts $2,000 or $3,000 more in your pocket. It's up to you. All right, everybody that just jumped on, we do these live streams. I'm calling this segment, I'm pretty sure I'm landing on insider secrets to below market car deals, because I want you getting below market. I don't want you to ever use the term market value again. Like all over these websites, they convincing y'all to pay market value, or they're, hey, the market adjustment. Now you're paying over market value. We ain't talking. Don't talk to me. I want y'all thinking below market value. Let everyone else pay market value. Let everyone else pay over market value. I want you thinking below market value all day long. Okay, so yeah, I think that's what we're calling it. So everybody who just jumped on, we're doing this show, and part of the show is the release of my new book. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. If you just jumped on, I would love for you to get a copy and use it and report to me how much you save in your car deals. You can get it for 75% off. It's a digital book. You download it immediately, and I update it. So the reason it's digital is because when something happens in the industry, you don't want to be stuck with a print book that I wrote 2 years ago. Vroom went out of business in January. If you were stuck with a print book you got from me, now it says Vroom, and then you go to Vroom and they're out of business. So digital, I literally update it to keep the information fresh. So all the thousands of copies out there, when something happens or a new strategy, or I rewrite a script, because all my scripts is in there, all my email templates, you're not saying anything. You're saying you're typing what I tell you to type. Once I adjust that, everyone gets the updates. Couldn't do that with a print book. All right, so go to my TikTok bio, download your copy, or go to my Instagram bio, download your copy, or scan the QR code, or go to DeShawn'sBook.com, depending on what platform you're on. All right, I hit a tow hitch on the highway, and most mechanics wanted me to pay $500 for a new wheel. I found my favorite mechanic when he walked out with a sledgehammer and fixed it for $30. Thank you for that. Y'all see what we talking about? Y'all see what we talking about? You only need one. This person might take you a while to find, but when you find them, they're your person. And you send people to them. And what you'll find is after you send about 4 people to them, you're gonna start slowing down. 5, I send people, everybody to my guy, but you'll find they get busier because the great guys get busier. But that's what you want. He went from $500 about to come out his house to $30 because he has a relationship with a great mechanic. You need that. You need that. Ask around on social media. Ask your friends and family in town. Who do you know? Who does everybody trust? Who's been here 10, 15 years? And you go and you talk to that person. Okay. Where can I go to sell my car? Well, we sell our car through, we get bids on our car from the online buyers. CarMax, Carvana, Driveway, AutoNation, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, Car Guru, Sell My Car. You can do We Buy Cars USA. I like to get all the bids. You have no idea. You never know. And some people, I want you to never do this. I've seen people on the live. I've seen people in my comments, and they say, "Man, I always sell a CarMax. I always sell a Driveway." You don't. You cannot do a always if you're going to use a bidding system. You're either going to you see that's mixing oil and water. What we do over here, the new way we shop, getting bids, water. That old way of going back and forth with one person, oil, doesn't mix. And sometimes people mix because they'll say, okay, I came and I did the bid. This company won the bid. And now next time I need to do this again, I'm just going to go to them again. No, they have to win the bid again. They'll say, oh, well, this car dealership won the bid. So in 3 years or in X, when I want another car, I'll just go back to them. No. They have to win the bid again. There is no loyalty in a bidding system. You win the bid, you win my business. So when I see people that say I only do Driveway, I'm like, you're going to look, because you don't know. Sometimes these companies say, you know what, we need to buy cars this week. Put an extra 10% on every offer. Or sometimes they might say, you know what, we've been buying a lot of cars, we kind of need to slow up, scale back 10% on what we would normally offer, and whatever we could get, we'll just get. So if you are committed or tied into one particular company, then you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Welcome to the new people. I see a couple new followers, I see a couple new subscribers. Appreciate you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is what we do. And we're gonna get a solid time. I'm gonna actually, if you're on my email list, you'll get notifications of when I go live. So that way, if you got the book, if you got my cheat sheets, if you got anything from me and you're on my email list, starting next week, I'll be sending out an email right before I go live or a couple minutes before. That way you can tell people, it's dangerous out here, y'all. Not just with the bad information that the public, that y'all, they throw at y'all. The bad information that they throw at y'all and everyone wants to make a car video. I don't know if that's just me, but it does seem that way. It seems like everyone wants to make a car video. I don't know if it's the hot topic or if it's been the hot topic or if they know, but here's Dave Ramsey talks about cars. Dave Ramsey's a good guy. He has a good heart. Confidently wrong about leasing. Same problem with Sandra from earlier. Confidently wrong. So if you've listened to Dave Ramsey, if your family has listened to Dave Ramsey about life insurance, about investing in the stock market, about budgeting, then He's helped you. If you've listened to him about leasing, he's cost you thousands of dollars. So the dangerous part for y'all as all this information comes is, can you discern good information? That's where you have to be. You can't blame anybody for that. You see me right now, if you don't get great car deals, and I'm putting all this out there for you to get great car deals, for the rest of your life, if you don't save all the money that you should be saving, it's your fault. It's your fault because it's in front of you now. Now you got to discern. You got to be able to say, okay, good information versus bad. That's not always easy to do. But I'm telling you, your bank account depends on you being able to do that. Your bank account depends on it. So when I tell y'all about leasing, when I show y'all leases and tell you who leases are for, people who don't keep their cars 8 years, that is, you may not understand that yet. Doesn't mean it's not true. That doesn't change the fact it's true. So if you go out and say, you know what? He said, don't buy if I'm not keeping the car 8 years. And you go out and buy because you don't understand that yet, you just lost money, whether you understand it or not. So some of you will take me in faith and say, you know what? I'm just going to take it, whether you had a book or not, where you could see it for yourself. But you're just going to say, man, I'm looking at these results. I'm looking at these people who lease. It sounds like, it looks like, not even it looks like, they're paying thousands less. So let me go that route. That's what I would advise you to do. Even if you don't understand everything, listen to what I'm saying, put it to the test, and until it doesn't work. But you'll never get to that point. You will never get to a point where what I'm telling you doesn't work, because it's predictable. This business ain't hard. Getting great deals ain't hard. When you got the plan in an old, antiquated industry like the car business, and you come in with strategies, you're going to see, man, this ain't hard. You mess around stuff. I had a guy, and I'm going to tell you, and then we get back, we'll do a couple more questions. Guy hit me on Instagram yesterday, and he said, he was commenting, and he said, you helped me build my brand. And I see that he actually, he builds a brand. He gets people to pay him to lease cars for them. And he uses my strategies that he learned from me, and he shops for them. God bless you. Because once you see how easy it is to shop getting bids, and you see how much people hate it, you might be like him. Because your family going to see that you're no longer worried about it. When you tell your friends and family what you paying, even when you purchase your cars, how much you paid for them, and they see, yeah, I did all this from home. I was only in the dealership for 30 minutes. And you got that deal? Wait a minute. Wait. Now you're going to become the person. Well, how'd you do it? Can you show me? Can you show me? Now, you might want to show them, give them my book, tell them about the book, or you might just want to say, listen, they might come to you and say, hey, you know, if I give you 300, would you do the shopping for me? And if you know how I shop, you're going to know it only takes me 60 minutes, 90 minutes tops to get these deals. So if you tell me, yeah, you know what? I'll take that 300. They might come to you and say, man, I'll give you $500 if you could get me a great deal on my next car. So that's what I'm saying. Not only is what we do better over here, it's less time, it's quicker, you're more in control. So the old way that y'all been trained to do, you've been attached to an old strenuous way. Get out of that junk. Get out of it. We bought a vehicle, but have a very high interest rate. Can we do anything about that? Because we've had it a year only. All you can do is refinance. You know, interest rates have been high. All you could do is refinance. You could sell a vehicle, but I don't. It doesn't sound like you're interested in selling. What I would do is I would just be checking, making sure you're monitoring the rates and looking for the right opportunity to refinance. You know, if it was a credit issue. Now listen, people with good credit some of them have had high interest rates depending on the car they're buying. So it's not always a credit thing. If interest rates are high, interest rates are up. Now, if it's a credit thing, if you've improved your credit, then you can refinance into a lower rate. But you need to wait for rates to come down. So what I would do is I would Google refinance car loans online, and you would just monitor where those offers are, so that when the time comes, when you see the right offer to drop your interest rate, you just refinance the loan. But remember what I'm about to tell you. Don't duplicate the length of the loan. Everybody who wants to loan you money always wants you to borrow more money, and they want you to borrow it for a long time. Because the more money you borrow, combined with the longer the term is, the more interest they make on the loan. So they're always going to say to you, take a 6-year loan. They're going to show you a low payment. Don't fall in love with the lower payment. You've already paid for 1 year. When you go to refinance, remember this, everybody. When you go to refinance, don't look because they're going to say, hey, if you take it for 6 years, look at what your payment is. And if you fall in love with that payment, you miss the financial decision, which is, I already been paying on this car for a year, 2 years. Why do I want to now refinance into another 6-year loan? That means I'm going to pay 7 or 8 years overall. Don't do that. You want to take the highest payment you can afford. Very simple. If you look at it and they say, we're going to drop your interest rate from 10% to 6%, and they say, if you do it for 4 years, this is what you're paying. If you look and see, I can afford that 4-year payment, take the 4-year. Take the shortest payment that you can afford, because that's going to be the lowest overall paid for the car. Don't get hooked into a long loan again for a low monthly payment. All right. Auto auction. I don't talk about auctions. I don't talk about things that are basically, I consider it for professionals. Auctions are like, in my opinion, if we liken it to houses, it's like buying foreclosures. Professionals. Are there great opportunities in buying foreclosures? Absolutely. Have people gotten burned and lost their shirt buying foreclosures? Absolutely. So when we look at auctions, buying from auctions, that's for professionals. That's not, I don't teach that. If you want to learn that, find someone who's going to teach that, and just realize what comes with that. When you learn it, you get skilled in it, you can win. But that's not something that the majority of the public should be doing. Absolutely, my pleasure. All right, let's see. We got if I'm doing more than 80,000 miles a year, how can leasing best serve me? If not, will buying be my best choice? Great question. Great question. I hope you're still on. Person just said they're doing 80,000 miles a year. What that sounds like is they're doing, I have 3 strategies for high mileage drivers in my book, because everything's covered in my book. Get your copy now, 75% off. It's called Car Shopping for people that hate car shopping. If you say to yourself, I hate car shopping, the book is perfect for you. You could download it immediately, 75% off. In my TikTok bio, click that link, and you won't leave the broadcast. So you don't have to worry about Deshaun, I don't want to miss nothing. You won't leave. Click the Instagram bio, TikTok bio, get your copy before that timer hits 0 so you can get it for 75% off. Or go to Deshaun'sBook.com or scan the QR code. Get your discount. 3 strategies in there for high mileage drivers. Now, you sound like you're doing something for business because you're putting 80,000 miles a year on the car. You don't want to mix. It's funny because the young lady earlier said leasing is good for business people. That's wrong. That's who should be leasing is what she said. But in your case, it doesn't. You don't want to lease, because the people who shouldn't lease are people who are trying to put as many miles a year on their car as they can. So if your car's on Toro, if it's a good year, you're going to put 40,000, 50,000 on the car. If it's a slow year, you're going to put 10 on it. So you can't predict the mileage. You're trying to keep that car on the road. You are not trying. You don't want that car home. And in that case, you can't predict the mileage. So you cannot lease without it. You can't lease. And so this is fine. Here's what you do. Here's what you do. Pay very close attention, because if you don't do this, you're coming in with cars that you're upside down in. High mileage drivers, you'll always have $10,000, $15,000 of negative equity every time, because you destroy your cars and then you which you have loans on them. Your loan, here's what you want to ask yourself. You want to go down the road and you want to ask yourself, when do I plan on replacing this car? This requires planning. If you look and say, all right, I'm putting 80,000 miles a year on this car. When do I plan on replacing it? You might say, all right, I'm going to replace it in 3 years. Then your loan should be 3 years. Very important. Your loan, if you have a car that is on the road for business and you are making money in that car, you don't, when you say, I'm going to take a 5 or 6 year loan because I want my car payment to be $150 less per month, you're losing because you're pushing your losses to the back. You're saying, I'd rather have $150 a month extra coming into my household, and I'll deal with the $15,000 of negative equity I'm going to have when I go to replace this car. Because now you're like, man, this car got 300,000 miles on it, but I still owe $12,000. The car is worthless, and you're 12,000 upside down, which means your next car, that $12,000 gets carried over, and your budget, whatever you could have budgeted, subtract 12,000 from it because you got 12,000 in negative equity that got to go into that deal. Don't do that. That's pushing your losses to the back. Take them every month. When you say, if you're putting 80,000 miles a year on your car, you're making money. So what you want to say is, when's my replacement? If it's 3 years, I'm going to replace this car in 3 years. I'm doing a 3-year loan. Yes, my car payment is going to be $400 more per month. But here's the difference. I'm making money throughout the month, and I'm not pushing any losses to the back. So here's what's going to happen. In 3 years, when I go to replace this car, because it has 300,000 miles, it's paid off. Now it's an asset for my next transaction. What I just told y'all two minutes ago was losses to the back. They might jam up my next transaction. I come in with 12,000 negative equity. I might not even get the car I want. In this particular case, doing it the right way, doing it the financially sound way, now my car is paid off. Yes, it has 300,000 miles. I'm going to sell that thing, maybe make 5, 6, 7 grand on it. And now my next transaction, I'm doing it over again. So you high mileage drivers who got your cars out there on the road and you're trying to put 30, 40, 50,000 miles a year on them, you got to ask yourself, when am I going to replace that inventory? If it's 4 years, 4-year loan. If you could estimate and say, you know what, I think I could get 5, I'm gonna get 5 years out of it. When I get to 5 years, I'm gonna turn the inventory. Then your loan should be 5 years. No negative equity. You're gonna pay a couple $100 more a month. It's a business thing. That car generates money for you. So don't take the short-term profit for the long-term loss. Okay? But leasing is not for you if that's what you're currently doing. Everybody else, you should be leasing. Everybody else. And that's all in my book. I don't have the business part in there. So because I don't get that question a lot, but when I get it, that's how I break it down to business people. That's how I break it down to people who, have a car on the road. But I focus on what works for 99% of people. And in the cases of, rare cases like that, you ask on the show like this, and I'll answer it. Yes, you got your book. Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate it. Enjoy it. Use it. And let me know when you make your deal. Email me, DM me. Let me know when you make your deal. Thank you, Prince. Enjoy. Thank you to everyone who got a book so far. Use it. What you're going to hear me say, you're rarely going to hear me say read it. You're going to hear me say use it because it's step by step. Step 1 is the most important question, which you're going to ask yourself, how many years am I keeping this car? If the answer is 8, you're going to purchase. If it's 8 or more, you're going to purchase. This is step 1. When you open that book, you get to step 1. It's the most important question. The last step is step 7, and that's delivery. So by the time you get to reading my page on delivery in the book, you should be looking at your car or you should be setting up the delivery. It ain't no, I read the whole book no. By the time you get to the page where I'm congratulating you, step 7, you should have your car. That's the way it's laid out. It's not a read and then take a test and then I'm going to go get my car. Thank you, Creepy Cat. Enjoy. God bless you. I have a book, but I think I'm stuck on step 3. Step 3 is budgeting. Step 3 is deal structure. So what are you purchasing or leasing? Step 3, y'all, after we do our equity assessment, we move to step 3, which is deal structure. This is where a lot of the money is lost. This is where you're going to do things like, we're budgeting for a deal. How much am I going to pay per month? How much can I afford? Do I have any down payment money? What should this lease cost me? The vehicle I'm looking at. What should that vehicle cost if I get a great deal on it? This is what we're doing in step 3. So let me know. But yeah, Bonetta, if that's what you're doing in step 3, you are looking at the vehicle you want and you're assessing what a good lease deal on it would be. I use 1.25%. So anything that I do, if I'm shopping for a lease, after I do my equity assessment, I look at the car I want. If it's $40,000, I say to myself, at 1.25%, that's a $500 payment. That's a $500. Now, I ask myself, is $500 in my budget? In order to get to 500, this car has to have a great lease deal. I got to shop my offers and someone's going to win the bid. So that's how we budget. It's called deal focused budgeting. I'm not just budgeting saying, all right, how much money do I have? How much money can I afford? No, we're budgeting for what a good deal should be. Okay. So if there's anything that you don't understand about that, definitely ask. You're talking about the equity assessment. Thank you, Paul. Yes, he said, I love that approach. Thank you. It's a strategy. It's literally you're armed with strategy, and you're coming into an antiquated, old, traditional machine. It's like you coming and using these strategies in my book and the stuff I teach, because I teach the same stuff. It's just everything in one spot. Those of you who have the book, you have everything I teach, everything I will ever teach about leasing, purchasing, getting great deals, selling leases, selling cars in one spot in an organized fashion. So that is what the book is. But I don't hold back on anything. But when you walk in to an old industry and you're using cutting edge new stuff, it's like they're just like you coming in running. And these jokers just like, what are you doing? It's like they're so far behind. They ain't gonna catch up to what we're doing for years because the industry is just so old and traditional. And unfortunately, most buyers still shop the old way. So you come in with cutting edge online shopping strategies, you in and out the market, and it's like that. It's an old industry. Are the scripts in the book to start the bids for lease? Absolutely. When we get new cars or leases, we use what I call in the book, I call it the 25 to 5 strategy. When we get a pre-owned car, you use what's called the multiple marketplace strategy. These are both in step 5. When we get to step 5, that's multiple offers. That means we're in the market. It's time to get our car. Step 6 is paperwork and protection. So you shouldn't even be at step 6 unless you done locked up your deal and it's time to talk about paperwork and any protection we need. But step 5 is when we're in the market. So step 5, in the market, you're using the 25 to 5 strategy for leases and new cars. You're using the multiple marketplace strategy for pre-owned cars. The 25 to 5, I'm showing you the websites. In fact, that's one of the spots where I link you to a video from the Cars from Home library, and I show you me on the websites for 25 minutes, literally pulling up going to all the sites, and I tell you where to go to contact, hit the contact tab, and you use my initial contact template where we tell them exactly what we want, what our time frame is, and we just copy and paste it to 25 dealers. That's how we do it in 20 minutes. People like, Deshaun, how do y'all contact 25 dealers in 20 minutes? Just like that. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So everything we're doing is scripted because they're predictable. So I know what they're going to say because I had to use the same scripts they used. I was using those saying, hey, Mrs. Jones, I noticed. Thank you so much for your inquiry. When can we get on the phone? It'd be a lot easier if we could talk for a minute or two. I guarantee all of these scripts I had to use, copy, paste. So car salesmen use scripts. So all I did knowing the scripts that we use when I was a car salesman, I just wrote responses to that to keep the daggone conversation on our terms. So I know everything they're going to say. They're going to try to get you on the phone. They're going to try to get you to come in. They're going to try to tell you we only do business in person. They're going to try to tell you this, and that's okay. We have our replies. You copy and paste my replies, and you keep the conversation moving. And you're going to see that list narrow from 25 to maybe 10 dealers that have a car you're interested in to 5 quotes. The cream rises to the top. And out of those 5 quotes, one of them is going to beat all the rest. Predictable. Works every time. They keep asking me to come in. They text and email. Oh, absolutely. 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 That's what they're supposed to do. I bought the book. If I have any questions, can I email you? Nicole, I don't have that set up. And look, here's what I can tell you. I got books all behind me. If you catch me on the live, you could ask a question about the book. But I can't get in touch with none of these authors. I don't think any of these authors even go live, so I could even ask them a question about a book that I have for them. So I do have a card, so the book is comprehensive enough. And like I said, if you catch me on a live and you want to ask a question about it, certainly do that. But I don't have it set. And you got to realize the magnitude of what we're doing here. Like, we're on 4 platforms. I can't show y'all my DMs. Y'all never believe it. Like, you can only imagine how many people need cars and how the DMs look. We can't help people in DMs. It's impossible. So that's the reason why we don't have it set up where I'm just reading emails and typing back. That would just be like a truly ineffective use of time. And I mean, I wouldn't be able to help people like that. So let's see. All right, we'll do a couple more. Shout out to everybody that got their book. Enjoy it. Let me know if it's still showing. Make sure it's still showing the 75% off price. As long as that timer is not 0, you still get your 75% off on the book. Download it immediately. I'm going to share this with the salesperson that keeps calling. Hey, good time. Listen, if they're a good salesperson, they don't mind competing. And if they're at a dealership where their manager won't let them go below a certain price to beat their competition, then you need to know that. You need to know that. Like, I could love you all day long. If I work for a dealership that's like, no, we're not discounting that car, oh, well, I'm going to lose. Because some dealer is going to discount and some dealers are going to discount even more. I would see that all the time. People will come on my videos and be like, nah, you teaching these people, man, we don't discount. Since the pandemic, no discounts. No problem. We buy from your competition. What the you think you're saying? You think you're talking to somebody who don't do this, man? I buy from your competition. I'm talking to your competition the same time I'm talking to you. I'm not even talking to you. You got a spot in my email. You got sure you're gonna eliminate yourself. Some of y'all are gonna be talking, and you're gonna see. We don't change that. You can't change the 80%. When we on my Facebook, I got a private Facebook group for people in my video course. Some people like access to videos. Some people like the book. Fine, and they'll say, Deshaun, these dealers kind of, act like they're kind of giving a hard time. You think I should I give them? I said, no, believe the 80% when they show you who they are. When they say, the 20% are the people we're looking for. They make purchasing from home easy. They're willing to compete. They're willing when you counter, when we make our offers to say, all right, listen, if I could do this, that's the 20%. The 80%, if you think you're going to turn the 80%, the liars, the wolves, the sharks, into somehow these magical, wonderful people, you fooling yourself. Because here's what the 80% will do. They'll make you think, they'll tell, hey, yeah, I'll do this, I'll beat that deal. And then when you get there, they're going to snatch you with something else because they're the 80%. They lie. So don't try to, we're sorting. When you use this new style of shopping is sorting to find the best people. You're sorting for the best used car dealership. You're not, because it's 17,000 new car dealers in the country. It's 100,000 used car dealers in the country. I could tell y'all confidently, 80% of them they will take your head off. 80% of them don't care about you getting a great deal. They care about business and the register ringing. But 20% are incredible people. They are here in the business to serve. They want to they want you to have the best product. They want you to have no issues. If there's a problem, that's the 20%. But the 80% is sprinkled the majority of those 100,000 deals. So what do? We got to sort. And you can't sort getting in your car, driving to them. You sort sitting at home and using this tool that is one of the most valuable tools called the computer. And you're going to be amazed. It's a Benz deal, and the salesperson says, my old one got moved to a sales manager. All right, that's fine. Just follow your process. Don't let a car dealer lead you down their process. What's the best way to estimate the miles I drive a day looking to get a lease? Good question, Chris. I actually have a section in the book called How to Estimate Your Mileage, but this is it in a nutshell. Easiest way is to look at what you drove your past year. If you have a car, look at what you drove in that car the past year. Now, if your lifestyle hasn't changed, that's the best indicator. If maybe your lifestyle has changed or you don't have a car to do that with, here's what you do. Where am I going? All right, I'm driving to work. How far is it to work? 12 miles each way. Each way. Perfect. How many days a week do you do that? 12 miles each way. That's 24 miles every time you go to and from work. How many days a week do you do that? 5. Okay, perfect. 5. That's 120 miles a week you're putting on the car for work. Majority of our mileage is always going to come from work. In most cases, and almost all cases, it's going to come from work. So now we take that weekly mileage, we multiply by 52 weeks in a year. That comes out to 6,240. We're doing 6,240 miles a year for work. Now what's leisure? What's leisure? Well, I like to go on a vacation. I like to drive down to, do this. How long is that trip? 500 each way. Okay. How many years? How often do you do that? And if this is too much for you, you don't deserve to win. If you sitting here saying this is a $30, $50, $100,000 acquisition, I'm telling you how to do something that you weren't taught to do that takes 1 minute to do, easy. Don't let laziness and habit keep you in this old system of losing money. So you add your leisure mileage, and I've had people who say, Deshaun, my kid is going to college. I'm going to be out there probably 4 times a year. Okay, how far is that trip? 1,000 miles. Okay, perfect. That's 4,000 miles a year you're doing to and from college. Now you add your work up. Now you add this up, and they're like, yeah, I need like 14,000 a year. Perfect. Done. Done. Just go into your lifestyle. Done. All right. Simple book. That's also in day 3. In day 3, deal structure. That's one of the things when if you're on the lease path and you're using my book, you get to a point where it says how to estimate your lease mileage in step 3, which is deal structure. Structuring your deal. Structuring your deal is, I talked about earlier in the broadcast, the person who knew they needed 15,000 miles a year, but they got 10. Now they're going to have a bad lease experience because they're going to be billed at the end for the mileage that they used that they didn't want to pay for, but they're going to pay for it because they used it. When you build it in, it's cheaper up front. And that's a decision that deal structure ruins the experience. When you skip deal structure, it leads to a bad experience. It leads to penalties and it leads to money loss. So structure your deals the right way so that your experience is great. Okay. I have a 23 Hellcat jailbreak, 3,000 miles on my lot. Okay. So what I want to see, this is a person who's trying to sell somebody a 23 Hellcat, 3,000 miles on it. I want to see every Hellcat within a 200-mile period, 200-mile radius. Because whatever you're asking for that car, if it wins the bid, see, cars are cookie cutter, y'all. See, there's somebody who's driving past that Hellcat right now, and they're like, ooh, that's a nice Hellcat. And they're gonna go and look at it, or they're gonna go talk to this person about buying it, and they're gonna either overpay or they're gonna have no price assurance. Overpay means I don't know what he's asking for that car. And there was a similar Hellcat for less money. That means you overpaid. Now let's just say there was no similar Hellcat for less money. You don't have price assurance. That's called buyer's remorse. That's called, oh man, did I overpay for this? Price assurance means I can guarantee to myself, this is what you want. If you want price assurance, type PA. Price assurance means you don't drive off in a car without guaranteeing to yourself that I paid less for this car than any other option. That's price assurance. And it's easy to get when you compare. So I'm going to look at every Hellcat in 100, 200 mile radius, depending on the price. The more expensive cars, we go further. So if it's a very expensive car, rare car, G-Wagons, I might do the whole East Coast. I might do the whole country. Because when the higher price you get into these cars, the more potential it is for you to overpay. Like if you're buying a Ferrari, you could overpay by 50 grand. And you could like literally, you could like there might be the G-Wagon. All through the pandemic, people were doing $50,000, $75,000 over sticker price, but there was a couple of dealers who weren't doing markups at all. So anybody who got those G-Wagons that paid through 25, 50, 75,000 over sticker, that's how much they lost. They overpaid by $50,000. So the more expensive the car, the more potential it is for overpayment. But when you shop your offers, when you see the whole market and you see all the options, never happens. Never happens. That's why people want you tied and hooked to them. Look at this car. Don't look at no other car. What can I do to sell your car today? What can I do? Can I make you an offer so good you won't even go look at nothing else? Now, if I'm sitting on 20 grand marked up, if I'm sitting on 6 grand marked up, I'm setting you up like a black widow. Listen, you like the car, man. I just want to go see some more options, man. I saw this guy online. I didn't get his book. It was only $24, 75% off, teach me all this stuff, but I didn't get his book, but he told me I should always shop around, man. So I think I'm gonna go shop around, man. Listen, is there a price? Listen, you like this car? Yeah, I like the car. I told you that. And I told you I like this car. Okay, let me ask you, is there a price? I'm asking, you see what I'm asking for the car. Is there a price that I could offer you right now where you won't even go look at anything else? Man, shoot, bro, it's not going to be a price you like. I'm just saying, you don't know what I'm sitting on. See, I'm letting you see that negotiation table, what happens. I'm taking you into the psychology of the negotiation table and why, in order for you to win, you can't compete with somebody who's trained as a car sales negotiator. You cannot compete. We know the psychology house. You see our product. That's like me coming into your house and I want to buy your house. And I'm just, wow, this is an incredible house. I'm going to pay, like I'm going to overpay. I'm emotional. So if I'm talking to you and I'm like, look, what's the price? Name a price. You're not going to offend me. Look, worst case scenario, I can't do it. Look, but if you don't throw it out there, maybe I won't even know. Now, some people, depending on, who you are, it's various numbers that's going to come out. Yo, take 10 grand off. Man, I can't do that. That's crazy. Maybe I can, depending on the car. But oh man, even if no matter what you say, a great salesman is gonna say, "Oh, nah, bro, I didn't know you. That's more than I thought. That's more than I thought." And I take off $2,000. Oh man, I thought you was gonna ask for like 500. Psychology. It's called the takeaway. I told you make an offer. You thinking you about to empower yourself by throwing an offer out. I immediately shoot that offer down. Oh, hey man, I create doubt. I don't think I get that done. But if I could, let me ask you, I'm gonna go talk to the manager. If I could, now I know a salesman who know he's sitting on 5, 6, 7 grand, whatever, and you ask him for something that he know he can do, the deal's done. But I can't tell you when you say 2,000, take off 2,000, we got a deal. All right, done. I get it done. No, gotta create doubt. Psychology. I'm mentally going to. This is what salespeople are trained in. They ain't trained in the stuff I talked about earlier in the broadcast with Sandra. Finance, depreciation, resale value, buying versus leasing, to counsel with you. They trained in the psychology of mentally playing with you to make you think you won and driving and getting the deal done. So you can't compete. You got to step out of that world. And you got to be talking numbers while you in your house. You got to be talking numbers via computer. You got to be talking numbers, multiple people at one time, competing for your business. When you do that, you ain't got to be good. You ain't got to have the best words. You ain't got to be smooth with what am I going to say. Smart, work smart, not hard. My old saying, let's crunch some numbers and see what we could do. There we go, Don. We got Don as a car salesman. He understands. You understand? Let's crunch some numbers. I could know I have a deal. $500 a month. Can you do 500 on that? Now, I done did enough deals on that car to know I could do 500. Got to create doubt. That's tough, man. 500. Most people pay $7 for this car. This is what you are competing with. You can't compete. I want you to step out of this world and work smart. Come with a new machine where they can't figure you out now. Where you're psychologically saying, oh, I could buy a car today, but you know what? I got 60 days before I got to make it. I want you to operate with a better system, better psychology. So that's what we're talking about on this show. I'm trying to teach you to come out of the old way of shopping and step into the new way of shopping. You got to understand some things. You got to understand leasing versus buying. 8-year rule. If I'm not buying my cars, if I'm not keeping my cars 8 years, I'm not buying it. I'm going to shop for an aggressive lease. And I'm going to follow a system where I'm getting bids, not negotiating one-to-one. Bids, multiple offers. I think in the next hour, when I come back, we'll talk about the bank bids, because a lot of you don't know. You hear me talk about the selling of our cars, not trading. You hear me talk about getting bids for selling our car. You hear me talk about getting bids for buying our car. But the same systems exist with the banks. Getting bids from banks and credit unions so that you can stop asking a dealership what's the best rate, or giving the dealership an opportunity to get you your best rate instead of giving them an opportunity to beat the rate that you already got. Everything's a bid. Some of you are like, Dad, Deshaun, you do the bid for the loan too? Everything is a bid. There's a saying, everything's negotiable. Everything is a bid. All right. So thank you to everybody. Get your book. As long as the timer is not 0 yet, you get it for 75% off. Everything that I teach, everything I will ever teach is in my new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. Click the picture of me on TikTok or Instagram. Go to that link in my bio, and you'll see a tab there that says 75% off on the book. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, go to Deshaun'sBook.com or scan the QR code. Get your book, use it, and make sure you keep me posted to your success. And thank you to everyone who's reviewed it. Like, this is amazing. Like, before we even released the book, officially released it earlier this week, we were already at a 4.94 on Goodreads.com, 27 reviews, 31 ratings. Thank you so much for all of you who have reviewed the book so far. After you use it, or you could review it once you read the first 2 pages and you're like, man, this is good right here. Feel free to click the link, go to Goodreads and review it, because this is how more people find it. But I'm very, very happy to see that we're at a 4.94 rating and we just released it. So use it. People are enjoying it. And certainly, thank you. You dropped some game, brother. Thanks. Thank you. D-Moves, I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody who tunes in. If you're on our email list, you'll get the email when we go live so that you're always notified. And let's continue to save this money, y'all. God bless. Watch your money. Be smart. Move different. All right. God bless y'all.